one of our functions at this summit is to force this community to have graduate level discussion. I was very adamant about, look, we don't, we're donating our time. This company does not need this conference to get out there and be seen.
I had that same conversation with Tom Kyer 5 minutes before we started.
Yeah.
About why he's here.
Yeah.
So, sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Tom doesn't need it. Everyone knows who he is, right? So what I want to do is I want to force this community into grad school. I'm tired of the freshman conversation. It's time to go from the 3rd to the 4th and the 5th grade, right? We need to...
Let's move on, man.
Yeah, let's move on and force this community to do that. And that's one of the reasons I'm supporting the summit and supporting all of the diversity here, at the Bride's favorite word.
That's another big word.
Yeah, that's another
diversity.
Big,
I have a list of words.
I'm not going to even ask what everybody's definition of that is. We're going to leave that one alone.
But no, it's seriously though, man. It's we want to have these. I want to have these discussions, right?
I can tell.
I want to have these discussions. I want people to say something to me. I want to hear something that's impactful. I want to hear something that changes my point of reference. I want to get into the fucking weeds about this.
Yeah, man.
I do, right? I mean, and that still, I've been doing this a long time. I'm closer to 60 than 50, I don't know how old are you, Scott?
I'm 49.
There we go. So,
closer to 50 than I am 49.
Wait till you hit 50.
So wait till you hit 50, man.
Then he's going to give you the breakdown.
I'll give it to him. I'll give it to him right now. I'll give it to him right now. This is
what he told me, because I turned 50 in January.
The difference between 40 and 50. 40 is novel. 50 is stark. So at 40, when you turn 40, you're kind of like still kind of doofy and stupid. You're like, I turned 40. Guess I got to be an adult, grow up, good job. Move out of my mom's house, whatever. Yeah.
Move out of my mom's house.
So 40 is novel. 50 is stark. And here's why. At 40, you can see 80. At 50, you can't see 100. That's the bottom line. So when you really understand, I've spent more time here than I've got left. All of a sudden, how you spend your time and who you spend that time with and what it's doing, that gets really important.
Well, that started for me a bit ago.
There's none to waste.
That's the birthday present he gave me on my 50th birthday. He tells me this story, and I'm like,
really great
dude, go fuck yourself. like, thank you. Now I'm an asshole.
My life is, he's like, fuck.
Now I'm going to be an asshole.
My life is stark.
Yep. Now I got to be grumpy Scott.
Now I got to think about that.
Yeah. Now I got to be grumpy Scott instead of freaking, happy-go-lucky. I got freaking 80 years. I could do 80 years.
So no, I want to force this community into a higher level of collegiality, a higher level of instructorship, a higher level of precision.
Precision matters.
That's everything.
Ambiguity is where bad decisions are made.
All the time.
And it's good to spend time there. But we should remove as much ambiguity
as you can.
As possible. I think it's really important. And buzzwords are ambiguous. They're marketing terms.
Ambiguous, not ambiguous.
I will escape out of this place immediately.
Enunciating with the tone and the voice.
I'll walk across this freaking room and punch you in the face.
I'll just escape.
No, but I don't like ambiguity. It stresses me out. I hate it. And buzzwords are totally in that category. And they're just marketing terms that people put in the copyright. So they say stupid stuff like be aware, check your 6. We pressure tested this. What does that mean? What does it mean to pressure test something? Can you explain it to me? How do you be aware? How do you do it? Tell us.
What was that process?
Yeah. What skill did you use to be aware? What does that actually mean? Have you spent any time reading Boyd's work? Do you know where situational awareness comes from, or the deep, rich aviation history that brought it into the industries outside of aviation? Because now it's adopted by everyone. Everyone uses it. Situational awareness, where does it come from? What's the definition? How do you improve it? What is it? I think people just throw these words out and put them on a t-shirt. Mindset, awareness, aggression.
People think
de-escalate.
People think words are verbs that aren't verbs. aware is not a mindset, or aware is not a verb. There are two words that everybody thinks is a verb: awareness and mindset. I will aware my way out of this dark alley. I'll mindset the fuck out of Brian when he is mounted on me, punching me. They're not verbs.
Right.
They're not verbs, man. You're not going to aware or mindset shit.
Yeah, and where words matter, right, is, I think that's the part people have a tough time with. Do they matter in this context? Do they matter in that context? Man, they matter all the time. They matter all the time. But if you don't have a vocabulary to work with, then your words start to mean less.
I don't think you have to be the most loquacious Craig Douglas type person in the world, and this is where I think experience matters.
Scott's confused.
If you have spent time in a courtroom at all, whether it was a serious case or not, you will develop an extreme appreciation for precision in language. And if you don't have something that gives you that, which I don't think most people do, right? Most people aren't hanging out in courtrooms. I think that's why we don't see the same precision in language and instruction and pedagogy. I really think courtroom time is a huge way to force that into someone.
You're talking about your time there as a law enforcement officer?
Yeah, but it could be, maybe you're the bad guy,
specifically courtroom time, because there are plenty of cops that don't spend time in court.
Sure.
Right?
Right.
Now, I mean, if you're presenting cases to a grand jury every quarter, if you're in suppression hearings, initial appearances,
cross exams,
depositions, things like that. All of a sudden, every word they're hanging on, they're looking at you. It's being recorded, so on and so forth. So, even in law, I think,
and not just what you're saying in the moment, what you said during the incident.
Yeah, I think police officers, if they're well trained and they're fit, and I think law enforcement professional experience, I think they do a pretty good job of teaching regular people for two reasons. Number one, police officers aren't fit as a population. They don't shoot well as a population. However, one thing they do routinely is, again, manage a wide swath of people, and they manage chaos while armed. Mm-hmm. One thing I think most cops do, even if they're fat asses, is a lot of them, good, decent cops, it's hard to ruffle them. They've been to a lot of domestics. They've heard a lot of screaming kids, right? They've heard people pissed off at each other. So just that volatility with a regular person that has never experienced that, a well-adjusted regular person who's lived a good life, all of a sudden when he has a screaming person that's running towards him, we'll see that provoke a draw.
Right.
Mm-hmm. All the time. So he's running towards me. I said, yeah, because his kid just got hit in the street and he needs help. Right. And the misread, right, of that by regular people, because they don't have those lived experiences. I think law enforcement, because they do, and they manage chaos while armed really well. I think when it comes to teaching decision making, I think the law enforcement population probably does better than the military population when it comes to that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
When it comes to that.